I know people in the fitness industry who are taking Ozempic.
Yeah.
And then training clients and telling them how to lose weight.
It's selfish to keep in all of the resources and knowledge that I have, so I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
And that's how WarriorBabe was born.
So you go on to win and win and win, undefeated. And then you left. Why?
If you can prevent future things from happening, one of the things is not just eating right, but strength training. And
would you consider what you did healthy?
No, I landed in the hospital.
The big silence, empowering personal experiences, inspiring compassion, and healing lives. We are no longer silent. We are here.
The big silence. The big silence.
All right. Welcome to the big silence. Nikkiey Stott.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was a good dance party. It's a Monday. And we were like, you know what? Let's have a little big silence theme song dance party. We're ready.
That was the way to get it going.
Right?
That was perfect.
Exactly. Shout out to James Nicholas Kinney, my homie. You know, he wrote that song. I met him like 2.5, probably almost 3 years ago, one time in the living room, and he was freestyling. And then a week later, he's like, I wrote you a song. I was like, what? I just met you.
Oh,
like,
how beautiful. Perfect for you. That's great.
So, Nikki, I've been on your podcast, The Macro Hour. Make sure you go listen to it. And you're here in Austin now.
Yes.
About to fly home to Pennsylvania. And we're in the same industry of fitness and wellness. And your goal is transforming women's lives, which you've done very well at.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to talk about that. But we all know about your fitness and competing and everything that you offer for women. But I don't know anything about your childhood and the resilience of that, because I've heard it's been a journey.
Yeah, it has been.
Can you share?
Absolutely.
I love hearing the background of guests too, because you understand like how they got to where they are and the why.
For sure. So definitely probably getting a little vulnerable here. But growing up wasn't easy. My mom and to just go all the way back. So my parents separated when I was 2 and then divorced when I was 4. Young parents. They were both like 19 and 20 years old when they had me. Mm-hmm. And growing up, there was like 50-50 split custody. So I was like living out of a bag. My mom would have custody Monday, Thursday, and every other weekend. And my dad would have Tuesday, Wednesday, and every other weekend. And we did that for a majority of my childhood. And then we tried to do like weeks on, weeks off. But majority of the time was just like never had one set home base. And then the type of like parenting styles that I got from both of them were vastly different. Mm-hmm. My dad is my biggest cheerleader. And I'm like a daddy's girl through and through. And he would show all the love and the, affirmations, he would cheer me on. He would let me figure it out. And my mom was very distant. And I always seeked to want to, get validation through her, but I never received it. And it really, it definitely put a toll on our relationship growing up. So I didn't really have a really great relationship with my mom. It was, it just wasn't a normal mother-child relationship, I feel like.
So I'm thinking back then. So today in your adult life, do you have a home base or do you feel more at home being scattered and going from place to place?
I have more of a home base.
Yeah, you made a home.
Yeah. I've lived in my apartment, lived in PA for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah,
3 years isn't that long, but hey, for someone who's bouncing every week from home to home.
Yeah.
I asked that too, because I've found, especially through podcasting and talking to a lot of doctors and psychologists, that I'm used to chaos. And I'm trying to move out of that, even at my, as an adult now. And, and then your relationship with your mom, I've also had that, I realized last week I was interviewing Danny Morrell and I cried because I was like, you know what? I always was trying to make my mom see me.
100%. I can totally resonate with that.
Yeah, I wanted her to see me. And then I kept pushing, and not the only reason for pushing for my quote unquote success, but I did want to be seen by her because she was always in and out of the house and couldn't connect in a loving way. And then I realized as she passed, I was like, that's okay. She could never see me, but I got to see me.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly, I feel that. It resonated so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get her attention through and through all the time, but it was more so she was wanting to put her attention to men in her life and not so much me. And, you know, that's even to this day, our relationship isn't the best. It's more so me trying to connect with her rather than a mom trying to connect with her daughter. And the craziest thing, Karena, too, is I'm her only blood relative. So my mom was adopted.
Okay.
So
there's a story there too.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's from my grandmother or her mom that was brought up that she was really hard on her. I don't know if she ever had a relationship with that. I don't know if it stems from that. I don't know if my mom wants to ever figure out who her, you know, child, you know, her parents are. But it's interesting to me to the relationship that we have that she wouldn't want more of a relationship with her daughter. So.
I hear you, and a lot of people out there hear you, and that's where, you know, kind of working on that child wound and healing with that. And
I'm still doing it.
Hey, I will be doing it until I'm gone from this earth. But it gets better and better.
Thanks.
It really does.
Thanks. Yeah.
So you turned to sports as a mechanism for your resilience. So tell us that.
They say bodybuilders or breakups make bodybuilders, right? There's their saying.
Hey, yeah.
Do one way or another. I was in a 3-year relationship where I was actually engaged. And actually taking a little bit backstory, back in high school, I played sports. I played field hockey, basketball, and track. That was my outlet. That was where I released a lot of my stress. I was able to work with teams. And when I graduated high school and then kind of bounced around when I went to figure out with college, there was a point in time where I didn't have that consistency of checking in with a team or working with a coach or, showing up for practice. And I kind of fell into the alcohol world in my early 20s. And coming out of that, that's when I was in the relationship for about 3 years and then was engaged. And I realized during that relationship, I was suffering. I would personally inside didn't feel like I was matching up to who I was on the outside. And that at that point, we called it off and I wanted to figure out that girl again. I wanted to get back to how I felt when I was playing sports, confident, showing up, overcoming the failures, embracing those aspects. And that's when in 2015, I was your New Year's resolution, baby. I was I'm going to...
Good old resolution.
Exactly. I was I'm going to go and, work out, trying to eat right. And so I tried to do it myself for the first 3 months. And it was Pinterest workouts. It was back workouts, all these things that I was finding. And it didn't get me, it wasn't getting me where I wanted to get to. So then from there, I just dove into trying to learn more and figure it out. But
learn more as in getting to where you wanted to get to for competition, as in your physique or mentally, or what do you mean?
A little bit of both, actually. Yeah. Mentally and I wanted to have my outside match my inside, essentially. I wanted to, or maybe vice versa, my outside to shine back through again, because I felt like she was muted when I was in that relationship. And I felt like I was people pleasing and, just doing things that were kind of out of my normal nature and normal, authentic self. And so one of those things was just kind of getting back to finding that person again. So mentally putting myself through something I'd never been through, which was bodybuilding at that time. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, oh, these people have these bodies that look amazing. I want to try and get that.
Yep.
I didn't know how to do it. So
what class were you in? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Physique.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did one competition in Miami in 2010, I want to say. But it was the bikini one.
Okay.
I'm not built out for that. I'm not built out for it.
Bikini's got to bring that sass and that confidence and hey, the booty.
And I am I would say, well, back then. Now I talk a lot more. I'm not as shy and as reserved and introverted as I was back then, but going on stage and like, I was with Karena and it was like a year after we started toning it up. We're like, let's do this. It'll be fun. We like beaded our own bikinis and we got there and they're like, you have to walk like this. And I remember we met Lori Harder there and they're like, you don't have your walk down or your like show. I'm like, what do you mean? It was like
you just showed up and did it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't play this at all. We did
Hey.
not. I was like, not for me. But you and Physique, like the Physique women are like, wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was pretty grueling.
Yeah.
But also, I love the discipline and the determination that came from learning from that experience. It was like the grind, 9 months, you have to eat this certain way. You have to do chicken, broccoli, and rice. And then you have to train a ridiculous, I wouldn't recommend it. Not for like a lifestyle type of way.
It's it's not something you can keep up.
No.
Would you consider what you did healthy?
No, I landed in the hospital.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 times when I won my first show. I won my second show. And then the third, I became pro in both, but the first one was just a small organization. The second one was more the bigger organization in the Natural League. And one pro there, then wanted to go up against the pros.
Mm-hmm.
So then went up against the pros in 2018. That year, it landed in the hospital for rhabdomyolysis.
Wait, what's that?
So it's where my kidneys can't, like the proteins get turned to myoglobin, and then your kidneys can't like filter it out fast enough. Yeah. So the lactic acid build up, and I was walking around like a penguin, like my quads were like stuck, like contracted the entire time. I'm just like waddling around and like sitting on the toilet, and it just hurt. Wow. So I ended up getting 7 liters of fluid at the hospital to help push out the lactic acid. And then I landed in the hospital for not being able to poop.
How long?
Not being able to poop?
Yeah.
Like 4 days.
Okay.
And then I was doing my morning cardio because I had to do morning cardio and evening cardio for bodybuilding, getting ready for a show.
Right.
And I was on the Stairmaster in the morning and I was bent over in excruciating pain, just shooting pain. And so I ran to the bathroom and I was like, okay, I think I got to go to the bathroom. And I almost passed out from the pain. I was like, something's not right. So drove to the hospital and at the time, because I was in nursing at this, I worked in the emergency room.
Yeah.
And my doctor walks in, he's like, Nikkiey, no pun intended, but you're full of
shit.
Yeah, shit. I'm like, great. So yeah, it definitely isn't the healthy route to go.
Yeah, and I want to point out, because you were in nursing school during this time as you were bodybuilding. So you knew how to pay attention to your body.
Yes.
You knew what was healthy and what was not healthy. And did you know that you were perhaps not doing something that was good
100%. I knew it. And I even went to my coach too. And I was like, something's not right.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to myself. I listened to him instead.
Yeah. So you go on to win and win and win, undefeated. And then you left. Why?
Not realistic, not real, not sustainable.
Yeah.
I was like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
There's other people that I see living the life of like eating balanced, having ice cream when they want to, having pizza when they want to, and they still look and they're happy.
Yeah. Because did that affect your mental health being so strict? Because I can imagine maybe you come in and discipline is the thing you can control coming from a childhood that perhaps you couldn't control.
Amen to that.
Right?
Amen to that.
Yeah. So then how do you, if you realize it's not healthy for you and you want to be more free, because then your mental health is struggling. You're like, okay, I'm controlling my body, but you said you wanted to exude inside and out, but really you probably weren't.
Yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know at that time until I landed in the hospital and was like, dude, this can't be right. Like first show, I was very naive. I was like, okay, I'm just following. I'm the type of person that's like, you give me a plan, I'm going to follow it through and through. I'm going to take the action. I'm going to kind of just like go along with and figure it out. Second show, not that bad. Third show though, landing in the hospital and figuring out, okay, this isn't right. There's just got to be a different type of approach to take. So coming out of that, it was a struggle to learn how to not be this way and how to try and figure out a better, more sustainable way of allowing like pizza and more carbs in and like all that stuff. So it took some time to learn how to be that way.
Well, What would a process be for someone who is struggling, trying to get to a normal, happy place in their eating and their relationship with their body? Because also me, that one bikini competition, like I saw it, like the struggles that the women had. And then afterwards we all went out in Miami and there was like a lot of binge eating after. And we were like, wow, like how do you transform?
Yeah, I'll actually go back to that first show. So afterwards, not knowing what I didn't know, I gained 25 pounds in 1 month
Oh, wow.
because of I thought that my body, so naive I was. I thought my body could stay this way
Yeah.
when I went to the show and was like, oh, I did all this hard work. It's going to stay.
Yeah.
And then I started eating how I normally wanted to eat afterwards. And that's how I just 25 pounds. I was on clinicals on the floor. My shins were felt like they were breaking in half from walking around the whole time. And from there, it was definitely a little more like what happened, frustrating, not understanding. And more so like kind of bringing the awareness to it. Okay. So if I was talking to somebody that's trying to figure that too out, bringing awareness and bringing the extreme ownership. Okay. I after the show, I ate whatever, whenever, at all times when I wanted to. And then having the awareness of that and taking the extreme ownership of that. And then, okay, this isn't the way that I would want to move forward. So how can I make this better? And then giving myself empathy of my past, okay, I ate this way. This is what it is. And then giving myself empathy to accept that there needs to be some change and then making the change.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely can see that too. Even in my 15 years of Tone It Up. Prior to that, I was a triathlete and in the 20 plus years in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about your body, your mind, what makes you happy, your health, what you should do, what you should say no to. And it's quite the industry.
It is. It's a journey. It's definitely what I've learned. It's like a you versus you. It's up to you. If you have this goal. How are you going to go achieve that goal?
Yeah.
And then what are you going to learn from that goal to make it how you want it to make it?
Yeah. So then how do you get to WarriorBabe?
WarriorBabe. So back in 2017, 2018, this is a funny story. So I was in nursing school, right? There was a semester where it was medical research. I hated this class. We all have one of those classes, right? So I had a paper due for a final. And one of my good friends that graduated 2 years before me at the same college had the same class for the same paper. I took his paper and I turned it into turnitin.com, which wasn't a thing in high school for me. Do you know what turnitin.com is?
No.
Okay. So it's like, me neither at this time. And I was like, what is this system? You have to upload all your papers to catch for plagiarism and copywriting and using, either friends' papers or the internet.
Yeah.
And so when I uploaded my paper, it was 80%.
We didn't have that when I was in school.
Me neither. This is my first. Same. Well, I mean, it caught up to me. So I was taking my med-surg final and the dean and the teacher of the medical research class came to me at the bottom of the class and pulled me out after I had handed in my final, took me to the dean's office and was like, hey, what is this? I was like, what do I do? I could try and wiggle myself out, or I could just take extreme ownership for it. So I just took extreme ownership. I was like, yep, this is what happened. My friend here graduated. This is it. And they were like, okay, well, you can't graduate next semester. And I was like, all right. I had it lined up. I was like, I was going to get my ER career, had the nursing position aligned and couldn't. So that was 2016 into 2017. So 2017 had a semester off at the beginning and I just was in love. At this time, I had already gone through 2 shows and I loved fitness. And I was like, what more can I do with fitness? And then that semester I got certified and I just went into trying to figure out how to because I had a plan to make money. I had the job lined up. And at this point I didn't. And so I got certified, and then I accrued my entire ER department to be my clients. And I trained them inside of my friend at the time owned a garage, or she was working out of a garage, and she was trying to build that up. So we moved into the garage, and I would bring my clients in and I would train them. And then we moved to a studio because we were getting bigger. And from there, the online space was starting to kind of like get bigger with one-on-one coaching. Or maybe it was just getting bigger to me at the time.
Because that's it was
probably popping off.
I'm thinking with Toned Up. We were the first people on YouTube for fitness 2009.
2009, yeah. So it was probably popping off, and I was just like, my awareness was getting onto it.
Yeah.
So 2017 was the year of me just trying, like, taking on one-on-one clients. And then I hired my now partner to help me with one Facebook ad that helped me get leads that way and then take sales calls. And that started to blow up. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to migrate out of one-on-one and I'm going to go into online space. And at that time, I named the company Alpha Female Fitness. Mm-hmm. And into 2018, my partner who helped me do that saw that there was potential to turn it into the brand. And we linked up, partnered in 2018, and then took on new clients, was running more Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. And then we got a cease and desist because Alpha Female Fitness trademark was taken.
Oh, you didn't do your trademark search. Tips out there, do your trademark search.
Amen, do that. All the work that we put in. We were about to take off because we were doing low ticket at that point, just trying to help through an app. Mm-hmm. And then we transitioned and had to rebrand in 2018 to WarriorBabe.
Yeah.
And the WarriorBabe concept, through and through, the whole fitness thing was I went into nursing, wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And I got into WarriorBabe and Alpha Female Fitness to help more people. I saw the opportunity to expand my knowledge and expertise and desire and passion to want to make a positive impact on women that I felt that were struggling at the same that I was struggling with at the beginning of my journey. And you know what? It's selfish to keep in all of the resources and knowledge that I have. So I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
And that's how WarriorBabe was born.
I love that. I like WarriorBabe. I can see female fitness. It's kind of like when I think we didn't trademark Tone It Up until 2010. I'm like, we got to trademark this. We're like, I can't believe it's actually available.
Amen. Thank God.
Yeah. We're like, wow.
It's a great name too. Yeah, Tone It Up.
Well, female fitness would be very searchable, and I can see that, and with ads and everything. But yeah, again, I emphasize trademark out there. So now you got WarriorBabe. Yeah. I like that though, because it can go in so many different directions, even outside of fitness. Mm-hmm. Just mental fitness and wellness and all of the things.
Yeah, I absolutely. I believe and I think we can resonate on this too. And a lot what's coming in the space is behavior change. It's not just, hey, here's your nutrition plan. Here's your workout protocol. Do this on a weekly basis. It's I like to, and our coaches like to know who is a human that we're working with, and how can we understand their patterns that they're probably dealing with food. How can they, understand the lifestyle challenges that they're going up against, to make the plan fit their lifestyle and what they need to succeed in getting the results that they want. So it's like I like to say, macros and workouts are here at the tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. You got confidence, determination, discipline, willpower, all at the bottom of the iceberg. So
yeah. Okay. So what are your thoughts on the fitness industry or world since you started kind of getting in, I would say 2015 to now?
I can be real raw and honest, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Because I got some thoughts too. But...
I just question every day, how are we still here? How are we still pushing fads and restricted diets and telling women, even I worked in the medical field, seeing doctors tell women that eating 1,100 calories is okay, or pushing what's out there right now, Ozempic and things like that for quick fixes. How are we still here?
Yeah, the Ozempic thing. I've had many conversations with doctors on this show. And
how do we feel about it?
I know people in the fitness industry who are taking Ozempic.
Yeah.
And then training clients and telling them how to lose weight.
So do I. This is what bothers me about that. Sorry, I don't mean to butt in.
Yeah.
alignment of words. Like, how can one person be doing this, but then telling their clients to do something completely different? Like, how, like, just one whole, like, align yourself with the words that if you're doing this, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And it's frustrating. And so then you don't actually know what is real and what is not. Is this trainer, this person working in wellness, and they are losing weight? Are they doing it naturally, or are they on Ozempic? And then to take it a step further, I believe, because these young women and also trainers who are giving fitness advice online and social media, who are, in my opinion, are getting too thin. And what is that doing for a new epidemic of eating disorders? Thoughts on that?
Giving the wrong impression.
Yeah. But even, it goes to body inclusivity, to now skinny, make it easy. I mean, I grew up in 80s, 90s, and there was, the diet pills over the counter. I don't know if they did anything or not, but it was being pushed. My mom was drinking some fast, and those, diet culture has been around.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went away, and then it's back in full effect.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, how are we still here? Like, how can we make more of a noise in the space that is in alignment with just living it, like the basics, like eating enough and exercising and moving the body and getting more people on board to push that message out there to,
And not hating on Ozempic. Some people need it. It's really
for the
great
right reasons.
For the right reasons.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, hey, during the pandemic, my mom passing away, it was all within a couple of years, plus being premenopausal. I put on like 30 pounds. Stress, menopause hormones, mom passing, everything. And I was like, I could work out as much as I wanted and was not coming off. But then once I could regulate my hormones and my stress and meditate and I turned away from working out. And then naturally, I was able to lose all that weight naturally. And then there's some like online forums that are like, oh, she must be on Ozempic. Just here to say.
Well, people tell me I'm on steroids. So.
All right, you must be, because you got too much muscle. So let's talk about muscle.
That's a great segue.
We're not on steroids. We're not on Ozempic. But to each their own.
Yeah.
However, that's the opinions here. So lifting weights and the importance of muscle mass as we get older. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, after the age of 30, every decade, we decrease like 3 to 8% in our bone mass or our muscular mass. And that just leads to down the line, osteoporosis, weaker bone density, especially going through menopause. The hormones shift that and make that quite a bit more, loud and happening. And the one way to prevent doing that is to lift some weights and to put resistance on your body, so you can build up the bones to be strong, the muscles to be strong, and then you can continue on with doing regular, normal daily activities later in life. I always think about like future self, right? I've seen it working in the ER, hip fractures, people coming in like that. I worked in before the ER. It was long-term healthcare, so I was in the nursing home, and I could look at, like Tony Robbins says, you can look at somebody and be like, you kind of know how they run their life. I could see that a lot of people weren't exercising. And I took care of my sick grandmother too when I was going through bodybuilding and nursing. And I knew she didn't exercise a day in her life. So I'm like, if you can prevent future things from happening, one of the things is not just eating right, but strength training and building more muscle. And it's not like you build a lot of muscle to where people think they're going to get bulky. It's just exercise, move your body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can lift heavy and I'm still going to naturally be leaner. But like for you, it's steroids, but you have muscle. So what's your secret? Lots of protein.
Yeah. I eat a lot of food.
Yeah. Eat.
None
Isn't
of this.
that great? You can lift weights and eat and feed the booty.
Amen. That's not like, that's a dream.
Yeah.
Like why? I know there's a lot of fear around more food just because of diet culture that women did get brought up. I always try and just tell women, like, trust me now, believe me later.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what this does.
Mhm.
Let's see if it actually makes you fat. Because like we're in the profession to not make you fat, right?
Yeah.
We're coaches. Like we want you guys to get results.
I
So
want you healthy.
yeah, eat healthy. But that's my secret is food.
Yeah.
Like
So what do you eat in a day?
wake up. This has been my breakfast for the last 2.5 years. It's the same thing. I also love the fact that it just takes a thought out of what I'm going to eat in a day when I'm prepared.
Yeah.
But I have egg whites in the morning, a whole egg yolk, and then I do a bagel and cream cheese.
Love a good toasted bagel.
Somebody got me on Instagram about eating bagels.
My husband's from New York and he like got me into bagels again. But you know, it's one bagel, not 3.
Exactly. It's about moderation and balance. And bagels aren't going to make you fat. Then it goes into, I usually have like Greek yogurt and granola with honey. And then I'll have my pre-workout usually is like oatmeal and egg whites.
Wait, okay. So you had breakfast and now we're into pre-workout.
Breakfast and snack would be next with the yogurt and the granola and the honey.
Okay.
And then if I'm going to work out in the afternoon, I'll have yogurt or I'll have the oatmeal. I do quick oats and then an instant packet of maple brown sugar. And then I put in the egg whites and I put it in the microwave. I don't like to cook if you're catching on to things here. I don't like to cook at all. It's very easy. And that was actually a follower who recommended to put it in all in a bowl and then put it in the microwave. I used to cook up the egg whites on the stove and then make the oatmeal, but she was like, just mix it all together and then put it in the microwave. So that's pre-workout. And then post-workout is protein shake and a banana or some type of fruit, just fast acting. So I can get to, because you don't build muscle in the gym, you break it down. It's building afterwards, 24 hours, 48 hours that you're eating right, sleeping right, and hydrating right. And then dinner is usually like chicken, mashed potatoes, maybe some veggies here and there. I'm not a big veggie person.
I was going to say, I just wrote a note. I was like, veggies, fruit?
I'm not a big veggie person. But veggies are important. I need to get better at that.
Do you take a lot of supplements?
No, usually just like omega-3s, like your normal vitamin D. But I don't take any greens or anything like that.
I'm going to get you eating some more vegetables.
Fetal position. I know I say this on a lot of podcasts. People are just like, really? I'm like, oh, I know I'm not a big greeny person.
Yeah.
But if I can drink them,
yeah.
No problem.
So, okay, let's talk about those who, as we're talking about building muscle, because that helps you lose fat, but how can you, in your opinion, in your work, like, what do you do to build or lose, or you want to lose fat, but not lose muscle?
Protein.
Protein
is king.
Yeah. Wait, and then I want to know, what is your workout?
Well, that's definitely changed over the years. Mainly it's either full body workout or bodybuilding style workout. And I train about 4 times a week, which is crazy because I'm literally doing half of the work that I used to do. So when I was bodybuilding, I was training 7 days a week. I was going in for morning cardio, then afternoon strength training, then cardio after that. And now I literally do half and I do 10K steps a day. Yeah. And I just train. It depends. I like to vary up my exercise, whatever fits best for me. But it's either bodybuilding style or full body in a week.
Okay. Yeah. And so I was going to say cardio, just 10 steps. You make sure you get your 10 steps walking.
10K steps.
10 steps. 10 steps. You guys know what I'm talking about. Any other cardio?
No. I did running earlier this year. So I had double ACL surgery on my left knee playing sports. And I'm pretty much bone to bone on that knee. So running kind of, unless I have some solid shoes.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I can't run. I'm not a big runner. I'm not a big runner anymore. Going from triathlete, half Ironmans to now, my hips
I'm not a big runner. I mean, I joke about that every day. I'm like, no, it's just not my thing.
To each their own. I've gone through so many fitness transitions and transformations through my life of what I love to do. As long as you find something that you love to do, and you're healthy and you're moving
and you're happy.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So, okay, what are your thoughts on the scale?
You guys can see my face, right?
Yeah. She's shaking her head no.
And just went like face blank.
Yeah.
When it comes to building muscle, I weighed 140 at the start of my journey. I weigh 155, give or take a couple pounds on a daily basis, give or take on a daily basis. But I weigh 155 pounds now. So if I was to didn't see the scale moving at the beginning of my journey or even throughout my journey and just stopped, I wouldn't be where I am now with the physique that I have.
Yeah.
Because muscle weighs more than, I mean, they weigh the same. It's just that muscle's more dense and smaller than the voluminous fat is.
Yeah.
So it looks, you can be standing next to somebody that's 150 pounds, but look drastically different. And the scale is just, I know a lot of women are attached with it. It's not telling you the full story.
Yeah. I didn't weigh myself for 2 years. And then you go to the doctor and they make you step on a scale with all your shoes and your clothes.
Amen. And then not to mention the BMI.
Yeah.
I'm obese. It's so skewed.
Oh my gosh.
That data is so messed up.
That's old school.
Yeah.
It's got to change.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, ooh, okay. I'm 5'10" and I'm 165 now. That. And I only know that because I just had to weigh myself. But yeah, it
doesn't tell you the full story. It's it's telling you one number, but not painting the full picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. So what would your tips be for someone who's lacking motivation to work out? I think we all have been there, number one. I know I have. Everybody in the fitness industry, it's not like every day we wake up and we're like, let's hit it hard.
Yeah. I can't wait to work out today. First thought in the morning.
Yeah. So tips there.
Yeah, I think this is a great question. I don't really rely on motivation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I rely on more so the discipline aspect of, I know that if I said I'm going to do a thing, I keep the promise to myself and I follow through on doing the thing regardless of how I feel. Motivation is going to ebb and flow. It's a feeling, and some days you're going to have it, some days you're not. Some people wait for motivation to even get started on their journey, and they wait 10 years, or they wait till a diagnosis happens.
Mm-hmm.
I act despite how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
About 90% of the time, I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
There's 10% of the time where I'm like, yeah, no, this ain't happening today. So, and then afterwards, I think about, okay, my future self will be super proud. I always say to women that are starting out in their journey, how would their future self act? How would their future self show up? What habits is she doing? How is she eating? And you have to start doing those actions that she's doing today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you close the gap more. So don't rely on motivation. Just it's going to suck. Just walk up to the door of the gym, get in your car, wear your gym workout clothes the night before. Okay?
I do that
wear them to bed.
No, I do. I sleep in my gym shorts.
It's
or my
a great hack.
Put your shoes when you put your feet down, when you crawl out of bed, put those socks on and those sneakers.
Yeah.
So then if you forget or you're in the kitchen sipping some coffee or something, you're like, I already got my sneakers on.
Yeah. The feelings are valid. Okay. It sucks. You don't want to work out, but if you just go and do it, once you get through the first 2 exercises, you're like, yeah, it feels so good.
Well, and from myself, because I go through ebbs and flows, but after 3 days of working out and doing all my morning wellness stuff, I'm like, I actually go to bed thinking I can't wait for the morning. You will have those moments. And I personally am more creative, obviously more energy, when you work out. So think of that. And we always say you never regret a workout. If you have ever regretted a workout,
amen,
let us know. So
amen to that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's
the simplest medicine for mental health, physical, creativity, living your life, everything that the good hormones that working out gives you.
Mm-hmm.
So
it makes you feel amazing afterwards.
Yes. So we just encourage you to get out there and move.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. We get to work out. We don't have to work out. We get to work out.
Yes. All right, Nikki. So we're going to wind this up. Where can everyone find you, work out with you, hang out with you?
Yeah, you guys can hang out with me on Instagram at Nikkiey Stott. And I spell it Nikkiey. And you guys can listen more on the Macro Hour podcast. And then if you want to train with us, check out WarriorBabe.com.
Yeah. And we'll put all that in the show notes, and we'll link the podcast, that interview that I was on your podcast.
Yes. Which was such a good podcast.
Yes. I'm so happy you were here in Austin, Texas. We could meet in person for your first live podcast.
Yes. Thank you
Woo-hoo.
so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
The big silence. The big silence.